The archaeological site on Kepler 442b had consumed 3 generations of Vryn scholars. Dr. Jathic stood before the obsidian monolith, its surface covered in intricate symbols that had defied translation for 67 standard years. The Vryn Linguistic Institute had deployed their finest minds, their most sophisticated algorithms, and their deepest computational networks. Yet the ancient script remained impenetrable, a mocking reminder of knowledge lost to time. "The human delegation has arrived," announced Jathic's assistant, her vocal membranes trembling with barely concealed skepticism. Jathic's sensory stalks drooped. The decision to invite humans had been controversial. Earth was a newcomer to the galactic community, their admission barely 2 decades old. They were considered intellectually adequate but unremarkable, their technology derivative, their culture chaotic. But the Council of Ancient Studies had grown desperate. The monolith was estimated to be 40,000 years old, predating every known civilization. Its secrets could reshape their understanding of galactic history, if only they could read it. The human stepped into the excavation chamber, and Jathic struggled to hide his disappointment. Dr. Sarah Chen was young by human standards, her lifespan barely a fifth complete. She wore simple field clothing and carried only a portable scanning device and what appeared to be a primitive notebook made of pressed plant fibers. "Dr. Chen," Jathic said, his translator rendering the greeting in English. "Welcome to the Kepler site. I trust you understand the magnitude of what we've discovered here." "The first archive," Sarah said, her eyes already fixed on the monolith. "Yeah, I've read the literature. You've been working on this for 67 years? "Correct. We have documented over 15,000 distinct glyphs, identified potential grammatical structures, and attempted correlation with every known linguistic database in the galaxy." Jathic gestured to the surrounding equipment, walls covered in holographic projections of failed translation attempts. Perhaps with fresh perspective. "It's Sanskrit," Sarah interrupted. The chamber fell silent. Jathic's translator malfunctioned briefly, convinced it had misheard. Excuse me? "Sanskrit. Well, Proto-Indo-European, technically, but heavily influenced by what would become Sanskrit, maybe 4,500 years old by Earth reckoning, give or take a few centuries." Sarah approached the monolith, her fingers hovering millimeters from its surface. "May I touch it?" Jathic's assistant produced a sound like escaping steam. "Dr. Chen, that's—" "Sanskrit is an Earth language, a dead Earth language. This artifact predates your species by thousands of years. The mathematical probability of—" "I know how it sounds," Sarah said quietly. "But look at this character here." She pointed to a symbol that had consumed 5 years of Vryn analysis. "That's Devanagari script, or its ancestor. This compound here, it's a trilateral root system. And this marker indicates grammatical case. Nominative, if I'm reading it right." She pulled out her notebook, began sketching rapidly. "You were looking for an alien language. You programmed your computers to find alien linguistic patterns, alien grammatical structures. But this isn't alien. Not to Earth, anyway. Jathic's biological processes had slowed to near stasis. You're suggesting that humans—" "That Earth somehow—" "I'm not suggesting anything yet," Sarah said, still writing. "I'm reading. And what I'm reading is a story." She stepped back, consulted her notes, and began to speak. "We who came from distant stars, we who walked between worlds, we who love this blue jewel more than our own dying home, we leave this message for those who will follow. Our time grows short. The plague that consumed our civilization spreads faster than we can flee, but here on this world we plant a seed. In the children of Earth we see our legacy reborn. May they inherit the stars we must abandon." The silence stretched for 10 full seconds. That's impossible," Jathic whispered. "Is it?" Sarah turned to face him, and he saw something fierce in her human eyes. "You've explored dozens of worlds. How many had humanoid archaeological remains? How many ancient sites showed evidence of bipedal tool users who vanished mysteriously?" 7, Jathic admitted. "We attributed it to convergent evolution. Maybe. Or maybe you've been looking at it backwards. What if humans aren't the newcomers? What if we're the inheritors?" Sarah gestured at the monolith. "This is a message from our ancestors, real ancestors. They seeded Earth, probably interfered with the evolution of Homo sapiens, accelerated our development, and they left messages like this scattered across the galaxy, waiting for the day when we'd be ready to read them. Jathik's assistant interrupted. But the language. You said Sanskrit is only 4,500 years old. How could you read something written 40,000 years ago? Sarah smiled, and Jathik recognized the expression from his human cultural training. It was the smile of someone about to reveal an uncomfortable truth. Because we never forgot, she said. Not completely. Sanskrit, Sumerian, Ancient Egyptian, Proto-Indo-European, they're not separate developments. They're echoes. Genetic memory, maybe, or something encoded deeper. Humans have always had a facility for language that seemed disproportionate to our development. We can learn almost any linguistic structure, master any grammar. My people thought it was evolutionary advantage. She laughed, but it sounded hollow. Turns out it's inheritance. She turned back to the monolith, continued reading. There's more here, coordinates, star charts, instructions. Her voice dropped to barely a whisper. Warnings. Warnings about what? Jathik asked. About why they died. About what's coming. Sarah's hand trembled as she traced another line of text. They fled something. Something that devours civilizations. They thought they'd escaped it, but... She stopped, recalculated, checked her work 3 times. Dr. Jathik, when did your people first detect the anomalous readings in Sector Theta? Approximately 60 years ago. A quantum disturbance we couldn't explain. Sarah closed her notebook. I need to contact Earth immediately, and you need to convene the Galactic Council. Why? Because my ancestors left us homework, she said grimly. And after 67 years of you trying to read it, I finished it in 20 minutes. Which means we're running out of time to prepare for the final exam. Outside, in the alien sky, stars wheeled in their ancient dance, and something vast and hungry stirred in the dark between them, drawing closer.